Delusion that there are no citizens in states. Oh, now all the fire and brimstone comes out. Then they gaslight you. You know, they have to, you know, they got to cut the interview short. I did an interview. I was happy. I finally cracked the St. Louis market. Yeah, I know. And I was doing a show called Nothing But the Truth. Yeah, you can follow Crane Durham's career. He's now doing a morning show. And his name is Crane Durham. And I'm going through, this is about 4 years ago. And so when to make the point really hit home about no duty to protect and no citizens, I'd go through the Stanley Hilton case. I would talk about 9/11. And we had listened to the show before I was on. It was a 3-hour show. I was the second hour of the show. And we're listening. And my wife is always right about this stuff. We're listening to the show, and she says, you need to call this guy, you need to cancel. He's a Hannity wannabe and a bad one at that. Don't do the show. I gotta crack this market. You know, I can't. Boy, she was right. The whole thing took about 3-4 minutes. So I'm going through the whole 9/11. And it's something we can all agree with. It's not a conspiracy theory to say that those buildings were destroyed that day. You can debate about how they were destroyed, but they came down. And so I'm discussing the facts and leading to my point. And the point was, why are the widows suing the airlines and not the Bush administration, you know, the government? And so he stops me and he says, wait a minute, are you saying that George Bush allowed 9/11 to happen? Gina was right again. Damn it. So I did the best I could. I said, let me finish my point. I'm almost done. We can talk about 9/11 all you want. He said, this is my damn show. You answer the question or you're gone. I'm gone either way. So I figured I got about 30 seconds. So I made the best of it. I said, well, yeah, given the fact that 39 minutes elapsed before anything was done, all the physical evidence points to, yes, they allowed it to happen. They started screaming and cut me off. Audience members are calling, saying, what should we think of this guy, Crane? To his credit, before he said, you can't fix stupid, he said, you have to make up your own mind. Go to his website, and he gave the website out. So I give him credit for that. But he's not doing that show anymore. So you be prepared for the emotional response. That's just what you're going to get, and you're programmed to respond that way. And if you don't believe you're programmed to respond that way, Steph, freedomainradio.com. He's got about 17,000 podcasts that you can listen to, and you can get a lot of that. My show has been archived. I don't have enough time to go through it, but we're going to go through some of the psychological reasons and background using science as why you have that emotional response. It's the same reason why the judge is going to get so upset with you or someone else when you ask simple questions. You're attacking part of who they are. They force us into their little schools when we're 4 or 5 years old, and they ram this crap down our throats day in and day out. There's those flags everywhere, my gosh. You see, Stefan, you lucked out. Living in Canada, you don't have to see all those damn flags. Yeah, I had a flag up. Anyone else put flags up after 9/11? Yeah, I did too. I put the Gadsden. That one they get. That wasn't obscure enough. All right, so you may ask yourself, people like Ron Paul and Barack Obama, are they in on it? Are they pretending? Do they know they're pretending? Because that's all they're doing. There are no presidents, there are no senators, there are no Congress, there is no congressman, there is no governor, there's people pretending to be. They're playing a part, just like Bill O'Reilly. It's all staged. You may be saying, but they don't know it. Does that mean they're not pretending? When has consciousness of your actions been an element of schizophrenia? Does a schizophrenic know he's not Napoleon? And it's the same here. Now, this is not a personal attack. I know Steph and we were accused of making personal attacks. This is not. If you think it's a personal attack, direct your hatred and criticism to Steph. But I was a vendor at the 2003 Freedom Summit that Ernest Hancock puts on. And Ron Paul was there. Now Moses Antonio was a friend of mine. He helped with some of the editing of the book. Went up to ask him some questions. You figure, wow, we got a politician, and he's going to be honest. Damn it, he's going to be straightforward. It's Ron Paul. Yeah. And he asked him point blank, is the Constitution a contract? You think he answered it? Oh, he did. And I'll paraphrase. I'm sure this video will be somewhere so we can verify this. I know Lysander Spooner would disagree, but I think it's a contract. And they wouldn't allow a follow-up from Moses. Now, anyone saying it's a contract, you want to follow up. Well, how many elements are in a contract? How many factual elements? Who said that? Oh, Ian. Yes, there's 4. So imagine if you were able to follow up with Ron Paul, another politician who said that the Constitution was a contract. Really, what are the 4 factual elements of a contract? Let's see if they exist. Even if they existed in 1789 or 1790, as Lysander Spooner points out, they're all dead. They're all dead. So it doesn't matter if they know they're pretending or they don't know, because the psychological effect is exactly the same. And there's no getting away from that. This isn't a law that someone cooked up. This is psychological testing. These are experiments done with double-blind studies. They were controlled experiments. The Stanford Prison Experiment is a big one. The Stanford Prison Experiment was a 2-week experiment. Now, I know there were some issues because the starts with a Z, but the one who did the experiment... What? Zimbardo. He participated in the experiment, so some would say it's tainted. I'll agree to a certain degree that there is some tainting to the experiment, but it has been replicated before, again, after that. And this 2-week experiment had to be stopped in just a few days because the ones who were pretending to be guards became sadistic. There were cameras everywhere. So they pulled them out of view with cameras. They were beating them, they were peeing on them, it was Abu Ghraib all over. And just because he participated in it.
Can you explain the experiment?
Yeah, I'll talk about a few of them. I don't want to spend too much time on it, but they did a mock prison. And they took otherwise healthy college students and split them into 2 groups. They had prisoners and prison guards. They knew they were pretending. They knew they could leave at any time. They got, within 36 hours, what's called de-individuation. And if that doesn't chill you to your core, it should. You start losing your individual identity. You can only identify as part of a group. What does that sound like? Okay. Change we can believe in, about better America. We. We used to say, unless you're speaking French, just we stuff. And so, after they got to de-individuation, they noticed that the guards were becoming increasingly sadistic. Now, a psychiatrist used that word, not me. And sadistic is, of course, a sexual pleasure from torture. They weren't just torturing them, they were getting pleasure from it. Where just a few days before, they weren't like that. They wouldn't even think to do that, but it was the situation that they were put in. I'll discuss a little bit more about that later. They had to stop it. I think it was 9 days. No, 6